In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Slave Leia for the Legacy Collection and also the Vintage Collection. It's the same exact action figure minus the sitting legs that we have with the Legacy Collection figure. They just took that away for the TVC figure, which is the one right here. But other than that, same exact accessories, same paint apps. I haven't noticed any differences between the two, but we will compare them in this review, and also I'll include the Sandstorm Leia here, and we'll compare all three. And there are some differences between the Sandstorm Leia and then these two here that we'll point out. So unfortunately, I don't have the package here to show you at all. In fact, all three of these action figures I ended up getting loose. So I got the TVC Slave Leia first several years ago from Tungori actually, and as far as I could tell, it's a perfect action figure. There's nothing remotely wrong with it at all. Then, shortly after that, I ended up getting the Legacy Collection Slave Leia because those that leg accessory in the sitting position is highly sought after, and as you could see on the Jabba's throne that I reviewed previously, she's a perfect accessory that goes along with that throne. So because of that, she's highly sought after, and she's probably going to be even more sought after now because of the new release of the Jabba and his throne. But we'll see. And then, of course, the Sandstorm Leia I ended up getting in 2019. So I ended up getting this one in 18. I got that one in 19. Actually, I may have got that one in 17. 17 or 18. And then this one I got somewhere in between all that. But if you know anything about the TBC card art for the Slave Leia, you know what that looks like. It's when the final duel at the Great Pit of Carkoon on Jabba's sail barge. The Legacy Collection packaging looks pretty good as well. Then the Sandstorm Leia's from that deleted scene when they're making their way back to the Falcon, which looks really good as well. So we'll just go ahead and dive into the action figure. So personally, I think this is a pretty good head sculpt for Leia. It's not perfect, and it doesn't look exactly like Carrie Fisher, but I still think it looks really good. Even if it doesn't look like Carrie Fisher, it's still really good sculpting work. I always thought they kind of made her look a little more muscular as well, especially in the abdomen there. She has this soft good skirt here, and the boots. And then he did sculpt some earrings on her as well. She has this braid. So in terms of their articulation, and all three are the exact same action figures, so she does have a ball jointed neck. Kind of restricted because of that braid there, so if you have her looking to her right, she's going to have this awkward angle to her head. So most of the time I just have her looking to her left. And that's about the only way you can really straighten it out. She does have hinged shoulders and elbows, and swivel wrists, a joint at the abdomen there, not so much the torso or at the waist. She does have swivel hips and hinged knees and hinged ankles as well. And there's nothing to see there at all. In terms of weapons and accessories, so of course we'll just go over the ones that all three basically come with. So she does have her skiff staff here. Nothing really much to say about that. I've featured this on the channel so many times already. So nothing too unique about that. Technically the chain around her neck is an accessory as well. You can just pop her head off and then take the chain with the collar off if you want to do that. And she also comes with this cup, which is the same cup that we saw Jabba the Hutt try to serve to Leia as they're making their way to the pit of Carcoon. And for the Jabba I have here, unfortunately his hands are too small to fit that. But Leia can't hold in her hand if you want to do that. Let's see here. The grip she has is kind of small, so might need to do it in her left hand. Oh, that won't work either. So that's about the best you could probably do. Something like that. I rarely have her displayed with this, so it's not too big of a deal. But still, nice for Hasbro to decide to include that. So those are the accessories that come with the TBC action figure. Then for the Legacy Collection figure, which is the same exact action figure, she does come with these leg accessories though. And it's simple enough to just pop her off. And then you can have Leia cut in half. Maybe that's her punishment if Jabba ended up living. But she does have this extra set of legs, and you can pop the skirt off. And as far as I can tell, no difference between the two action figures in any way. Maybe the boots are just slightly darker on the Legacy Collection figure over the TBC figure. And for the legs here, very creative for Hasbro to include this. I don't think they've ever done anything like this before. And she's sitting on a pillow, which goes perfect with the throne room that I reviewed previously. And it has some nice paint detailing in it. Like I mentioned, this is probably one of the most highly sought after accessories, arguably in Star Wars action figure history. Especially if you really want a Slave Leia for your collection. Most people end up settling for the TBC figure because typically, or at least for the longest time, it was easier to get a hold of. But it's disappointing not having the leg accessories. And the Legacy figure also comes with the cup as well, which, as far as I could tell, out of all those cups I have, there's no difference between any of them. Paint apps are all the same. Then we have the Sandstorm Leia here, which I'll do in its own separate review eventually, but I'll just show it off here. And it can be kind of tricky to get the accessories off, which I won't do today. But there are some differences between this one and the other two here. Most notably in the paint apps. As you can see, she has much lighter colored boots. And I know the bra she has is also much lighter in color, but because of the scarf she has here, you can't really see it too well. But that's basically the only difference, is that the paint on her is much lighter compared to the TBC and the Legacy Collection figures. But the sculpt is exactly the same. And she comes with these goggles as well, which can be kind of difficult to put on her. By the time of this video, This Tungori has plenty of the Sandstorm Leia available usually, and she's only like $20 free shipping, so that's something to check out. And she's probably the more readily available Slave Leia that you can get right now. And it's easy enough just to pop her off like that. And the neat thing is you can get her in a good pose like that. But yeah, I think that's all I can really tell you about this Slave Leia, or all three of them. So would I recommend a Slave Leia for your collection? I totally would. If you can only pick one, I would say just go ahead and get the Legacy Collection action figure. Having those leg accessories is really nice, and of course you have like a 2-in-1 action figure. I usually just keep the legs on that one because I already have the other two here that I compose in the regular position. So the TVC action figure, if you can find it loose, it's normally affordable. If you find it brand new on the card, it's very expensive. That card art is highly sought after for obvious reasons. And then the Sandstorm Leia, like I mentioned, you can find it on Tungori, usually pretty rarely available. And on eBay, I think the prices are typically reasonable for that as well. Carded, you might pay a little bit more for it, not so much as the regular TVC Slave Leia. You might find that one in like the $60, $70, $80 range brand new. While this one could go way up in the hundreds, especially if you get it on the Revenge of the Jedi card. Legacy Collection figure, I think most of the time I find that go in like the $50 or $60 range brand new. I think I ended up paying $30 for it loose, which is not too bad. And as you can see, it's in good condition, so you might be lucky enough to find one loose. But regardless, whichever version you get, they're all very nice action figures, highly recommended. But if you can only narrow it down to one, or if you only want to narrow it down to one, I would say just get the Legacy Collection. There are other Slave Leia action figures out there. I know the original trilogy line had one, and I'm pretty sure the Power of the Force days there was one as well. Those action figures compared to these ones I don't think have held up too well. I mean, they're not bad action figures. They're okay for what they are. But I would say just go ahead and get the newer ones. There's a good chance we're never going to get Slave Leia ever again, unfortunately. But maybe if the tide changes and the culture wars at some point, maybe we'll eventually get one, but who knows. I would say at this time it's a very, very small chance we'll ever get Slave Leia again. There is a Black Series action figure which I have, which is kind of horrendous at this point. It would be nice if we got a new update of her, but I don't see that happening as well. And I'll do the review on that action figure at some point. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. There will be lots more to come. And if you have not already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. Check out some links in the description as well. Thanks for watching.